Hello and welcome back to A Foreigner and Family in the Philippines. And this is where we have some bananas. This is where we've recently transplanted some bananas. And then before that, we actually had the corn back here. And we had to cut all those bananas down. And even while the corn was growing, I was coming back through and cutting them down again. And so bananas are pretty resilient here because they are back. The larger ones that were there came back, and then we've come through and planted additional bananas because we're going to do bananas over here. And then we just recently planted some bananas over on this area. We could actually take it up a little bit further on the slope there. They seem to do okay in the with some shade there, with moderate shading, as long as they're staying moist and getting water. They're producers. So this has been a great little area for the bananas. So we're filling that in. I might even look at taking, there are quite a few trees over here. Most of these are rubber, falcata. There's another one long skinny one. Where are they? Yeah, this is one right here. The trunks get a little bit wide on that's some kind of wood there. I believe it's that's an actual hardwood, and that's a useful tree there. I don't know what the name of them, but there are quite a few of them. Several of these are. That one there is a rubber. That one there is a rubber. But on this side over here, which is basically just because I had shown you the area that we had just planted over there, and then this is that area that was corn, and we've got filled out with bananas. There are some jackfruits back there, and some coffee trees intermingled. There is a lanzoni and a durian in the middle of that too. And we've got quite a few of these coffee bushes around, and I just recently had someone come through. They spent one day harvesting coffee beans. They got to pick the berries, dried them, took them to the miller, sold them. They ended up making close to 800 pesos on that. I gave them 60% of it because it was pretty labor intensive for them. Once they picked them, they had to dry them for several days on the tarp, and I basically didn't do anything. I didn't plant these. I didn't fertilize them, but they're here and they are producing coffee berries. So this one has already been picked here. There's still a lot of these still have berries at the top. I need a better ladder. I need to prune them. The only thing that I have done to the coffee trees is I've gone through and I removed that native orchid. It's a small white flower. It's nothing special, but I removed that viney type orchid off of them because that seemed to be smothering them. And then there's also this thing that I don't know if the ants just go, but it's like a potato thing that kind of grows up them. The ants love it, so I got rid of those on them, and that seems to have helped. But they need to be pruned. I did some minor pruning on them, but I've really got to get up there with the ladder and maybe get to the top of these. I don't know how tall you want to keep your coffee beans pruned or coffee trees pruned, but I know that it makes it tough getting them up there if they're too tall, and probably need a ladder. We missed a lot of berries at the top. Like I'm looking at these. I know you can't see it. It's getting dark over here. We've got and it's not that late in the afternoon. We got some clouds. Looks like we might get a little rain. But yeah, I'd like to know how many meters would be good for me to get up there and top some of these. Because there's quite a few of them. I'd say on the property there's maybe 50 coffee trees, big coffee trees total. So if they were taken a little bit better care of, maybe there would be more than 800 peso potential off of them. I know there would be, because there wasn't one that was just so thick with berries and not having the fence up, some of the border trees up yet. I know that we had some folks coming over here helping themselves to them, but I'm trying to keep that from happening anymore with some of the other stuff that we've got going on. Banana, it seems like we've started sacking our bananas too, and I haven't noticed stolen bunches here in a while, so that's good. I know that banana just got planted today. Got a little wind whip, and this is how we've been transplanting our bananas. And I was just busting them off, and I made a video of it. And we actually met with a Nestle, a former Nestle and a former Del Monte worker, and he's a technician, agriculture technician, and he basically showed us a whole nother way. And I was staying with the smaller ones because the smaller ones do better. But now I can even, because some of these larger ones out there, like those were a little bit larger that we had transplanted, some of those, and they take a lot longer to recover. But it's better just to go ahead and cut the whole stalk, and not just the top of it, not just because I've seen some where folks will just trim the leaves. Well, it's better to actually take them right at the base where that root is, where the bulb is, and cut it just above that. I mean, all the way down to the bulb. And when you plant it, and you can cut the little roots off around it even. But when you go to plant it, you actually just put that in the ground, 18 by 18 by 18 hole inch. Those would be inches for that. I know I've been using a lot of metric here, but that one happened to be in inches. And even 2 inches below the soil, and it'll still come up and it'll grow just fine. In fact, that's how he recommends it. And we're purchasing 200 of the bulbs like that. I'm gonna plant them just like that, even. So it's gonna be a different style. And those will be Lakatan bananas as well. And when you do plant those, you wanted to use a little Poridan, which is just a little sprinkle of some pesticide, just to help protect them from getting eaten up before they get a chance to grow. And there's also a fungicide. I'm going to soak them in the fungicide for 1 minute before planting. And what else is there? Some some chicken dung. He recommended that I would use some 14-14-14 fertilizer as well, but I think I'm just going to use the ete. This area just got cleaned up today, actually. There was a jackfruit there some of the guys had, but because some of these are jackfruit trees here, and they have some big jackfruits down there, which are protected by some bees right now. But this whole area was, just covered with some bamboo trimmings from when we had used some bamboo before, and it was just a mess. So just opened it up, got a couple more banana seedlings back over here. And these are some that Cielo and I had transplanted before, and the row, they had a couple that were here already, and the rows were kind of messed up, and I was trying to go, I think since it was just banana, I was going to try 3x2. I just felt like that was a little tight on the spacing, so I opened it up. It's a little bit further, but this spacing is a little off on some of these back here. But yeah, this was, I know I've showed this area, but now this is all clear and opened up. And my father-in-law was asking, if we wanted to transplant some more banana down there, and I'm like, well, actually we're still doing the modern day cacao. We're planting that along the fence there. He's actually over collecting some modern day cacao now, so we can, in between each of the posts, go ahead and add it. And then behind that, we have the 3 rows of the border trees. I think it's going to be mahogany over here, so that's going to be 4x6 spacing. So that ends up being, and then the first rows will be 2 meters back from the fence. So quite a few of these bananas here that we just transplanted even are going to be in the way of the border tree are going to be intermingled with the border tree, and that's fine. The border trees are going to take several years to get tall. The banana trees will actually help them with a little shade and help them get a little bit of a start. And then even when they are taller, the bananas will still produce underneath them for several years, so that'll be fine. But these are the bananas here. And so even with these trees, some more rubber tree. No, that's actually a Lanzoni tree right there. I've got 4 or 5 Lanzoni trees back here, and those are tasty. I like that. That's one of my top fruits over here that I like. Followed by right over back there, Santal. I like those. And another big, behind this coffee tree here is another Santal. And that's the Santal right there. And even behind there, so that's the Lanzoni I showed there. This is a mango here. There are some flowers on it. The Santals are actually flowering, and I see some little fruit sprouting. And I remember these produce for a while too. And they're tasty. These are a little bit smaller than a baseball. It's the Bangkok. They call them Bangkok Santals, and they're a little bit bigger than a softball. And I like these. They're almost borderline too. They're sweet, but they're almost borderline too sour, almost like a warhead candy, just about. So they're almost too sour, but they're not. And I like them a lot. I haven't tried one of those big Bangkok ones. If they're a little sweeter, that'll be great. And then that tree there is a mango tree as well. And I started off just showing the bananas and what we're doing with some bananas, but now I'm looking around at some of these. That's a Lanzoni right there. That's got some barbed wire wrapped around. That's supposed to deter. I don't think I got a single Lanzoni off that tree, but now we are fences and stuff. I think we've got no trespassing signs. I think we've got that cleared up. That's another Lanzoni tree, however, with a coffee tree next to it at the base. It's a little tight on the coffee tree, and then right next to it. I mean, the spacing is just way too tight on those. There's a mango tree there, and a rubber kind of on either side of the whole package there. Lanzoni, coffee, and mango. But this is the only area of the property that wasn't being utilized by Del Monte, so it had some things on it already. That's some trees on it, and that's the only area that had some trees. But you can see that was a cacao. That is a cacao. I did some pruning on it. I need to get a ladder, get on a lot of these so I can get up there and top them. That one, that's a Lanzoni there. There's an avocado over there. I'll walk over to the avocado. I like that avocado tree. I've never eaten an avocado, but I've recently tried an avocado shake, and I'm kind of hooked on them now. I like them a lot. So I plan on planting some avocados. But these are and this is where we are. And this is when I talk about where we started stacking our bananas. It's going to make the skin on the bananas a little nicer, so less blemishes, and they'll look a little nicer. So those bunches are sacked up, so they will look nicer and command a higher price with the buyer. That is another sack there. But yeah, and these bananas grow. Even all these with these trees, they grow great back here. Oh, this was where You know, someone had planted this rainbow eucalyptus. That's what's dead and fallen there. We came back here, cut down a mahogany tree because we needed it for some posts for a house build. The wood portion of the house over there. And when we cut that mahogany down, it hit this dead, kind of dying rainbow eucalyptus, which then landed on my cacao tree. And I really wanted my cacao trees because I'm kind of tinkering with them a little bit to see, like I've pruned them up a little bit, but because I plan on growing some just to diversify a little bit. It's not all going to be just bananas. I need to have some other things in the works too. I know the cacao's a little bit more work because you got to break open the pods, dry them out. That other one had you see a lot of dead pods up there, not looking so healthy. Like that pod, that looks like it's small, but it looks like it's a healthy pod. The ants haven't gotten to that one yet. But I pruned this, but again, the shooters that shoot up to the top, straight up to the top, need to be topped off. And even though I pruned the hell out of this, and it's probably good that I stopped because I didn't want to shock it too bad, I still need to come back and some of these that are way out. This branch is hanging way too far out, and it comes up from the one side of the tree and goes. So it's just I'm learning as I go with that sort of thing. But there are, and then some of these that are coming back, they're just shooting straight up. So we need to keep trying to keep the branches that are fanning out and get rid of those that are shooting just straight up. And I left this because this kind of was a little pathway that some folks were using because Del Monte just kind of let that go. And that's why we had some issues back here. But so I've kind of let this kind of overgrow a little bit to try and help. But this is the avocado tree. And I'm trying to zoom in. It's getting dark here and I don't know. There are a bunch of little avocados coming up on this. They are smaller than a golf ball right now. And this is where, well, some of these are a little bit bigger than a golf ball. But yeah, they're coming along. I liked the flowers when I saw those, and now it's off to try. I don't even know if these avocados are any good. I don't know what a good avocado tastes like. I just like the milkshakes. This area has been great for bananas also, and that's kind of what our plan is for the bananas. We're getting 200 of those from Ernesto, the technician, on Thursday here, and I'm going to try and go ahead, and because we got some higher chances of rain coming up, so I want to get those in the ground and see how they do with that different. The other ones have been, yeah, they get stunted a little bit, and the bigger they are, it was stunted a little more. But the bulb is supposed to be the better way to do it. So we'll see how that one goes too. And I'll still continue to do the little transplants. But because I've seen that now, I can take some of these larger ones, and I try to keep 3. Like we've gone through and gotten most of the ones here. I try to keep, and the spacing is just way off on these because of all the trees back here and stuff, but now I can take larger ones. And if I try to keep 3 in a bunch, so if there are more than 3, I can come in and even take a larger one now and just do that bulb technique on it, and it'll have a better chance of growing, because when you just try and plant it big, like the bigger it is, the less, and leave even though you cut some of the leaves off and you leave that one on top, I mean it takes a little while for it to rebound. So I'll be interested to see about that. And I'll go ahead and stop her there. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.